Welcome to the Heart-Led Business Show, where compassion meets commerce and leaders lead with love. Join your host, Tom Jacobs, as he delves into the insightful conversations with visionary business leaders who defy the status quo, putting humanity first and profit second. From heartfelt strategies to inspiring stories, this podcast is your compass in the world of conscious capitalism. So buckle up and let your heart guide your business journey.
Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of the Heart-Led Business Show, the podcast where passion and purpose dance in delightful harmony. Today, we have the marvelous Jake Prince, a chiropractic and regeneration practice owner with a heart full of courage and a vision vibrant enough to light up the darkest of business caves. Join us as we dive into Jake's journey in creating a heart-led health empire and discover the sweet secrets behind his success. Jake, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me.
I am really excited for this conversation today, Jake, because we've been working together for several years, 3 years, I think. And I've seen your practice grow, and you still have heart around it. And of course, I wanted to bring you on the show and help our listeners who might be struggling with making money and still being heart-led to know that you can do both and help a lot of people along the way. And of course, I always like to start off the show with a quick question, which is, what's your definition of a heart-led business?
Wow, great question. Me and my wife started this clinic 8 years ago here in just north of Houston, Texas. In that 8 years, we've seen incredible growth and incredible trials as well. Owning a business is not easy nowadays. It takes a lot of heart, takes a lot of grit, takes a lot of passion. Throughout the years, we were right there at the COVID era too, right? A couple years in business. In COVID, I got kicked out of 2 buildings because I wouldn't shut down because of the heart. We're here to serve God by serving others. We live in a dying world, a nation where I live in the U.S. here. Heart disease is on the rise, cancer is on the rise, stroke on the rise, opioid epidemics on a rise, like everything's on a rise. Type 1 diabetes on the rise. We lead the world in type 1 diabetes for pediatric and adults. We lead type 2 diabetes in the world over all nations. For pediatric, we're the most obese nation in the world. Heart disease, all of it's on the rise like no ever. We rank like number 14. It's crazy. And so our heart's really to educate our community and knowing how to take charge of their health, right? I was told by a mentor of mine, hey, you have to take charge of your wealth. And the same goes, you have to take charge of your health, right? Right there is really helping educating others, knowing how to have the knowledge, understanding, wisdom, knowing how to take charge of your health. It's our heartbeat. And a lot of that too is we've had our own health trials, right? So we're not coming from a textbook. We're coming also from experience. But really what's kept us going, we're ranked top 1% in the whole world. We'll cross over the $2 million mark this year easily just in cash collections because of our heart. I tell my team, hey, we're on mission here. So the heart is we're on mission. We're not showing up to punch a clock. We're not showing up to punch in, to work at a job. JOB does not exist in our clinic, right? We're all on mission. We're here to save lives, right? And I tell my team that every day. Hey, and if you're not on mission here to save lives, that's great. That's cool. Where do you want to be in life? Let me help you get there because evidently it's not here. And I've had those conversations with my doctors, right? You know, I tell my doctors, hey, you just went to school for 10 years. Guess what? Now the real true schooling starts now, right? Now is when the learning really starts. When you get your hands on, and every case is different. Everybody's different and everybody's body heals differently. We have to adapt to that and figure out we're a root cause clinic. And so with that, our job is to get to the root of what's causing their symptoms. Whatever those symptoms may be, brain fog, headaches, migraines, can't get pregnant, can't get out of bed, chronic sickness, illness, cancer, you name it. Our job is to get to the root of cancer. Our job is to get to the root of the autoimmune. We don't treat those cancers. It comes down to one, having a love and a passion for what you do and what you believe in. If you don't believe in it, there's no way you're going to make it. And truly just being on mission, looking at it as a mission. This is our mission field. This is our community. Now, of course, we serve patients from every nation around the world, but Antarctica. And I'm believing one day that patient will come in the door.
A research scientist, most likely.
Yes, that's right. But believe it, the heartbeat is just the mission. We believe in what we do, and we know it really is saving lives.
That's awesome. I'm curious, though, where did you learn this? Because it doesn't always come naturally to people, especially in business, to bring the heart in and to lead your team the way that you're leading them.
Yeah, good question. I think nobody taught me how to run a business. I didn't go to school. My wife has more degrees than letters in the alphabet, I like to say. She's the one with the MBA and a doctorate and all that other stuff. So she should be the one running the businesses, managing them and such like that. We have a couple different businesses, but really I learned by just being a student. I believe in what I'm doing. I see the fruit of it, but I love what we do, and I get to see the fruit of what we do. I get to see lives changed and transformed every day in our clinic. People living in wheelchairs, living in beds 5-10 years, bedbound, or can't walk for a couple of years, and every doctor I went to needs to say, I need surgery. We come in, hey, we can find out the root cause, and next thing you know, they're walking in a few days or a week. Life back. So really, it's just being a student. I tell my kids, I have 3 kids, is you got to be a continual student of life, right? And really, a lot of times we learn by failing. And I tell my team, I'm okay if you fail because that's how we're learning, right? But if you keep making the same mistake, now then I have a problem, right? But if you're messing up, that's okay as long as you're learning from it. I tell my kids, hey, I want you to mess up because that's how you're going to learn. You don't learn by winning. And so really, I've learned how we've learned to be one of the top 1% of clinics in all the world is by really just failing and continue to go back to the board and say, what are we going to do different next time? This didn't work. What are we going to do next time? And keep tweaking. And in the health side, like everybody's different. And we're one of the very few, you'll hear us say this, but you'll hear it say a lot more as people become enlightened, is everybody's body's different and everybody's body heals differently. And you can't have a cookie cutter approach within our scope of medicine of regenerative and functional medicine. It doesn't work that way. It's not like traditional medicine. That's why the traditional medicine model is broken. It sucks and it keeps getting worse and worse here in the US. We invest $4 billion a year in it, more than our own military, but yet people get sicker and sicker. Like, it's common sense. It doesn't work. So I think just continue to be a student and learn. My wife, she'll study 2 hours a day at least. Me, I'm learning. I had a doctor. I'm always being a student. And I'm trying to learn how to trade stocks right now, right? I see so much potential there. And one of my doctors come to me. I was telling him what I made. He's like, man, no way. And I just started too. I just started managing my own finances.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I got to learn how to do that. I was like, yeah, guess what? This is what I'm doing every night. I'm not watching TV. I'm not watching reels. I'm studying. I'm learning. I'm trying to craft a skill set. And I think that's all it is continue to craft the skill set.
Yeah. Keep that brain alive, the neuroplasticity, just keeping that active.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to go back just a little bit. So you started Prince Health 8 years ago. So 2018, 17? Right?
I got shut down for a branding issue. I had no idea. This big company came out and sued me because my brand was Get Aligned. That was our business name.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another company in the Northeast, same name. I had no idea.
Okay.
And they come out, shut us down, a bunch of lawsuit stuff. So we had to shut down and rebrand, regroup, reset. And we did, then COVID hit, right? So it's just,
I was going to say, how's your name, Prince Health? That doesn't seem like a trademark infringement, but you said it was the Get Aligned. Yeah. Interesting. So what was the transition before you opened the business? What was that like? And what was the decision to open the business with you and your wife?
Good question. So I was a public speaker and I travel around speaking a lot. I was also involved a lot in the nonprofit world as well. And my territory where I live is in Texas, pretty big territory. Texas is a lot bigger than most countries. That was what I was doing, public speaking and sharing and working in mission work and nonprofit work and things like that. And my wife had a small clinic. I opened a small clinic for her, very small, just something to do. We had 2 newborn kids and started her to work like 5 hours a week. Just something to do. She went to school like 12 years. Got to put that to use, right? And then what was I doing? She was being a mom and then practicing a little bit. I stepped in the clinic in 2019 in July or June to build relationships because I was planning house churches across our city through community groups and stuff, relational groups through our community and beyond. And she got sick. She got on a medical device we were going to implement in the clinic. This was in July. I stepped in for 5 hours a week just to build relationships and invite people to do them, to jump in, get in with us, what we're doing around the community. And she went to another clinic of ours, friend of ours in a community, tried a device. They put it on her vagus nerve. It threw her into just a spiral. Her body tremors, having convulsions right there in the place. They didn't know what was going on, freaked out, went to the hospital. Body's just all over the place, coming off the ground.
Ooh.
And doctors couldn't figure out what was going on. It threw us into a whirlwind.
Yeah.
And that started us on a journey trying to figure out what's going on. She started having uncontrollable convulsions, tremors, throwing up continually all the time. She's type 1 diabetic, had type 1 diabetes since she was 4, caused by a virus or a pathogen or something she might have picked up at that time that triggered the body. And so that put us on a journey trying to figure out what in the world's going on, and didn't have any idea. At the same time, we got kicked out of our clinic where we were in. And then, so I just stepped in just to serve. Hey, I had a lot going on too, a whole lot. I was very busy. And that's my main priority, serve my wife. So I was in the hospital a lot, and I was like trying to work with our team a little bit. Hey, what do we do? I'd step in, answer phone calls, reschedule appointments, trying to get a coverage doctor come in. And given I'd never had any experience with any of this, so I just started trying to fill the gap. One thing led to the next, and we just kept pressing forward. And my wife would get well again, and she'd step in clinic, start serving again, and boom, get hit again. And as this started, what happened, the trajectory that set us up to be so successful, because we've had to learn a lot through our own health journey. When she got hit in 2019, she was in the hospital an average of 2 months through September, October, November, December, or not 2 months, 2 weeks out of every month. Next year, she was in the hospital half a year. This time we have a full clinic. She's the main doctor. So I had to figure out how to pivot all these challenges, right? While keeping my kids and my wife and all of them, taking care of all of them. And so 2022 is like a quarter year, all this, and we just kept being misdiagnosed with the traditional medical route. And finally, we just kept learning and trying to get to the root ourselves, because everywhere we go is a dead end block, and just back and forth with neurological neurosurgeons, just so many different doctors and specialists around the country. Just couldn't figure it out. Every doctor would just diagnose with their knowledge and what they thought, but it was never a root. And so that's how we became on a journey we're on to where we are today, is just because of our own health journey.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's what a journey too. And to be able to grow a business from basically being kicked out of your clinic to a $2 million a year operation in a matter of 5 years, that's unheard of, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very unheard of in our world. A lot of people think doctors make a lot of money. They don't.
Yeah, right.
If you're doing it getting money to make money, you're in the wrong business. But I think most businesses statistically fail after 1 year, but increase in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And going against this, my wife's health, and now the doctor's hospital, COVID, and then being kicked out of our own buildings where we're serving. I didn't have a lot of a big P&L to show that I could support getting a big commercial lease, especially where we are. We live in a bubble in the woodlands here. Average household median income is like 150,000, 40,000. Things aren't cheap around here. And it was really God's grace. Really, I give him all the glory that sustained us, that got us through all this, that we had people come around us. I couldn't get any private lending. I had people step up, said private investors. So I learned a lot about that through that helped me out, get going as well. But really, it's really the grace of God to be where we are today, in the top 1% under that, really. But your average clinics make only $350,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
Regenerative clinic to make $500,000 is the industry average, right? Chiropractic, which we do chiropractic as well, is only $350,000 a year. Your wellness clinic, they don't even make that. I don't even know how they keep the lights on. It's really, I think the whole point is God's grace and our position to serve. That going back to your first question, the heart is just willing to serve people and not give up.
But that's at the heart of your business as well. It's serving with heart. And I see that over and over with a lot of businesses, that if they're focused on the profit, they'll have issues like what you just described, and they'd be gone out because their heart isn't in it. So they're like, oh, big problem, I'm out. And then they go do something else, fail, do something else. And it's always this kind of cycle. But when you have a heart into it, you go into it, you're like, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make it work. And that definitely sounds like what you and your wife went through as well in building that business up.
Yeah, I never planned on getting into regenerative functional medicine. To be honest, I never thought I'd get in there, even in here. But I got into functional regenerative side of things because I seen that's the only thing that was helping my wife, right? So we were traveling around the country. We thought we'd go a holistic functional route. And that was like doing ozone therapy, IV ozone therapy, opening up the detox pathways, looking at a lot of genetics and different things like that, hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And these doctors were doing $50,000, $100,000 plans to help my wife with no guarantee. I was like, man, I'm not cash flowing out of my pocket. But I was like, man, if I can see what they're doing, I can replicate it in my own clinic. I seen what others were doing, and I would just, all right, hey, they say you need 30 sessions of hyperbaric, and this is why. Oxygen is the absence of disease. So we learned so much through this journey. It is the cutting edge we're on the tip of the spear, the cutting edge of the future of health, for sure. I was like, okay, if we get oxygen to the source of her symptoms, it's going to start eradicating a lot of the pathogens and viruses she had in her body. So what happened was her cup was so full with viruses, Epstein-Barr, Lyme disease. She had 3 strands of Lyme disease. She had strep. She had all this toxin built up in her. And so what happened was, and she had type 1 diabetes. When they put that device on her vagus nerve there, it threw her nervous system into overshock, which just, her cup was already full. We just didn't know it. And boom, just exploded her body. And her body was not able to ever come down into like homeostasis and really to repair. And so it took us years to figure this out. But a lot of what she's experiencing is through pathogens and viruses, which we believe is the leading cause in our philosophy of cancer and a lot of autoimmune disorders, all that is because of that. They're pestilence, they're plagues. And I just started implementing in, okay, if this is going to help with this pathogen, help me get to the root of this pathogen, this Epstein-Barr, and I got to do this. And I said, let's try it out. So I get some finance and buy this piece of equipment. We do all the protocols, learn all the protocols and procedures. And I would just start working, implementing in my clinic. And then people started coming in, calling us, hey, my daughter can't get out of bed. She hasn't been out of bed. She hasn't been in school in 2 years. And we bring her in, do some lab tests, found out, oh man, you got her Epstein-Barr counts are extremely high. She's got Lyme disease, whatever. And we're like, hey, we're seeing incredible results with this. We've seen in our own life. I mean, I've seen it in my own life as well. Back in 2022, I got Epstein-Barr virus right after COVID. I had long COVID, which caused all kind of issues, health issues. Long COVID, it's a man-made deal. And once I got COVID, it triggered Epstein-Barr in me, which I already had, but it wasn't bothering me at all. You don't want to wake a bear up unless you just have to. And so what I did, my Epstein-Barr counts went way up. So I struggled a lot with fatigue. I couldn't work out. If I got worked out, took me 3 days to recover. I'd have hot flashes all the time. Feel like I needed 10 hours of sleep, very fatigued all the time, fever-like symptoms, all these things that these viruses cause. I had to get to my root of my own issues. And I was able to do that through what we've learned, of course, doing IV ozone therapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, different things like that. Stem cells. Of course, we do a lot of stem cells in our clinic. That's really helped regenerate the body and help in healing for sure. I know that's a lot of information there.
No, that's great. A couple points in there that I want to really highlight for the audience is, and this is a really great business strategy that you have the clinic, your wife is having these issues, you see the equipment and the therapies, so you bring that into your clinic. So you're financing her care through the clinic in a way and building the clinic up at the same time, getting your own experience and your own testimonials on the effectiveness of that therapy, which I think is absolutely brilliant, is what every business owner should do when they have a problem. You saw a problem, you saw the solution, you brought that solution into your own clinic and help yourself, but also help others at the same time.
Yeah, I wouldn't plan that way. I didn't have a business plan, but I like the way you say it, Tom. That's a good way to put it. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, you're exactly right. That's what happened. I tell people, if you want to be in business, just find out a problem. Where's there a problem at in your area, your community, or your area, and just meet the problem. You know, I tell my daughter all the time, I'm training her up to be an entrepreneur. She just turned 16. We all have an iPhone, right? Or a phone, right? Whenever these things come out. But when they came out, they didn't have phone cases, right? So everybody's dropping them, breaking them, busting them all the time. I said, somebody got a brilliant idea, said, hey, I got a solution maybe so these phones don't break every time they're dropped. And they created a phone case. Like, how brilliant of an idea is that? Now it's probably a multi-million dollar industry because somebody had a great idea. Hey, I'm going to make a case for that. So when I drop it, it doesn't break. Now everybody has one, right? It's just a simple issue with a simple fix, right? He's like, hey, I can fix that. And that's all it is, right? Where's there a problem at? How do I help meet that? And that's all what we do. That's what we give is all. We're just here to serve others.
That's awesome. How old's your daughter? 16, you said?
Just turned 16. Yeah, you can pray for me. She just started driving.
Oh my gosh.
6 foot, 140 pounds. So it's just like,
oh my gosh,
varsity sports and all that. So yeah, I'm getting into the realm now of life where these guys are always asking to date her and take her out and all this. They just don't know my guns are loaded.
Oh, wow. And it's great to teach. I'm sure she sees you and your wife at the clinic, and the entrepreneurial spirit has to absorb into her soul and her heart at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. She had a baking business this summer when she's out of school in our clinic. Every week, she would bring them up here and sell them in clinic. And, so just helping her craft and develop a skill set, mindset of that entrepreneurial, building that, fostering that entrepreneurial spirit in her. That's what I'm hoping she'll be. Who knows? I'm a supporter of whatever decision she makes, of course, but I'm trying to foster her into doing more.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. One other question here. So looking back at all of the different failures that you've had with the business, which one do you think shaped you the most?
All the failures I've had in the business, what shaped me the most? That's a great question. I found out, I just didn't know. Nobody taught me how to run a business or anything.
Yeah.
Is really having a team around you that has more knowledge and understanding than you do in areas is incredibly, like, by far invaluable, right? Like having a good tax attorney, having a great business attorney in your pocket, having a great accountant, bookkeeper.
Mm,
I used to try to keep my own books, and man, I sucked at it and I hated it. I was like, and
yeah.
so just finding those, putting those people around you with greater skill sets that you don't have and more knowledge and understanding that you don't have around you to help you move the ship in the right direction together with everyone on the same page, playing off the same sheet of music is incredible. And I didn't know that at the time. And so I made a lot of mistakes, financial mistakes, and a lot of different things just because I wasn't inviting others to come join on mission with us.
Yeah.
Like your team, hey, I'm here in the States. Your team's quite some ways away, but we're still the same team on mission. And so that's what I love. I have team members, my HR director, she doesn't live in my area. She lives in another state, actually. I have other team members that live in other states that do stuff virtually, but we're all on mission, all on the same team. And I think that's what it's all about, is knowing that we're all on the same team and working together for a greater cause.
Yeah. And that's a great point, because entrepreneurship, a lot of times people think that they need to do everything by themselves. And that's such a bad advice, number one, if that is advice that people give. But it's also just short-sighted as well, because we can't do everything by ourselves if we're going to scale and help other people.
Right.
Having a great team around you is super, super important.
Yeah, and I think, like, we've been together for a while, so we've grown a lot together. Just since we've been working, I've grown 36% average a year.
Yeah.
And your team's been incredibly helpful in helping meet a lot of those gaps and being on the front lines with us. Even when my team's not in the office, how your team's able to always be available on the weekends and nights when patients may need something. Somebody's there to be a listening ear for them and help guide and direct them. So it's been incredible. Absolutely.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you for that, Jake. And thank you so much for spending your time and sharing your wisdom with the audience today. How can people learn more about Prince Health and the different therapies and regenerative therapies that you have?
Yeah, I'd say just go to our website, princehealth.org. It'll give a mountaintop view of what we do. There's a lot we do that we don't share on there. It's just for other reasons. I get enough people that may knock on my door. I don't need a bunch of people knocking on it, especially unwanted knock. But yeah, go to princehealth.org. Like I say, we're helping people get to the root of their problems. We're a root cause clinic is what we do. So cancer, autoimmune, you name it. Want to avoid surgery, you name it. That's what we do. We treat a lot of patients who are very healthy. We have a saying in here, hashtag take charge of your health. If you're either going forward in your health or you're going back. There's no just medium, right? And you have to be proactive in it. And so we have a lot of patients, pro athletes, Olympian athletes, you name it, CEOs, military, people of all walks of life, bankers, you name it, stay-at-home moms. They're great. They're doing good right now. They're just invested in the long-term health. See so many people retire and come in here and have to spend their whole life savings on trying to get their health back, right? When if they would have just invested in it little by little over the years, they'd be so much farther ahead and doing exactly what they want to do in retirement, what they're passionate about. Yeah,
that's beautiful. Awesome. Again, Jake, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank
you
much
for having me, Tom. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And thank you, audience, for tuning in today. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you're checking out everything that Jake is doing at Prince Health, and we will link all that down into the show notes. And once you're down there in the show notes, you might see a little review button around there. If you could give the show a rating and a review, I'd certainly appreciate it. It definitely helps spread the word about heart-led businesses and how more people can still make profit and be a heart-led business. So until next time, lead with your heart.
You've been listening to the Heart-Led Business Show, hosted by Tom Jacobs. Join us next time for another inspiring journey into the heart of business.